This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are back with the legend that is Lesley Visser. When I grow up, I want to be Lesley. I want to be respected. I want to be well known. I want to be loved like you. Then Lesley, you're on camera, by the way.
Good, because I have a show and tell.
You have a show and tell?
I do, so that's good.
Okay, good. How you been, by the way?
You know what? I've been great. Although are you college basketball too? Do you love everything?
I love everything, but can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't like college basketball as much
don't?
anymore. Well,
No.
because we lost all our stars.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my
That's true.
It's like I'm spoiled. I had Pat Ewing for 3-4 years and Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe Mutombo and Ronnie Cycli with Sherman Douglas and Boeheim's teams and we had Duke and UNLV playing against each other for 2 straight years.
There was nothing like the Big East. I was privileged. I covered from
I
day
know,
one
I
of the
remember.
Big East. And you know what? Boeheim, he was one of the people in this tournament I just went to in the Bahamas. Great teams. They had Michigan State defending champion Baylor.
Sure.
Great teams. And I asked Jim, what was the toughest defensive team you ever played against? And of course, it was
Georgetown. With Graham.
Graham, right?
Graham, that bald guy,
yes,
Orlando Graham, I think. I think he has my name right,
David,
isn't it, Orlando?
No, it's David Graham.
David Graham. Okay, David
Remember
Graham.
He was bald and
Yes,
sophomore year?
badass.
But anyway,
yes.
And then I said, what was the second best? Because everyone would say Ewing, Graham, that team.
Of course.
So the second best team he ever faced was just a couple years ago was Virginia.
Okay,
so
yes.
In his 45 years,
he's done an awesome job at Virginia.
Oh, he's tremendous. And you know what happens? Teams can't play against the zone in the tournament because they don't play it all year. So he always, if he can get into the tournament, he'll win 2 games.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's been my problem with college basketball now that we lost our stars, and that hurts. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
And if you grow up with this, you're not going to know any different.
Right.
But if you grow up with what we grew up with,
right,
you kind of get spoiled. I had Michael Jordan for 3 years. It's just, you get to watch that. It's just.
What? I was so shocked. I think I've done 35 Final Fours, and that one where Jordan hit the shot, it was down in the Superdome, and I was so shocked because I just happened to walk off the court behind Dean Smith, and underneath, of course, his relationship with Frank McGuire.
Sure.
So underneath, he hugged Frank McGuire, and he lit up a cigarette. And I was shocked because, Dean was such a god to all of us.
Right.
But, of course, Tobacco Road, that's what. Yeah.
I mean, when my early days, and this 31 years, obviously we've been in the business for a long time, but my early days of covering Riley at the Miami Arena, so the game would end, and then we'd go to the hallway, and then there'd be that thing that they put the border so you can't cross. Riley would go to the room to the left, smoke his cigarette, then he'd walk past us and meet us in the because once he walked past us, then we were allowed to go. But every time he walked by, that smell of cigarette would hit you.
Well,
he was. I remember early days of Marlins. Remember they called out Jim Leland for smoking.
Yes.
Those were the days where that was towards the end of no more smoking in these kind of places.
I remember Magic told me one time that he had to say to Vlade Divac, Vlade, in this country, we don't smoke at halftime.
That's like the replacements, right? The kicker for the replacements. So he's like there smoking.
Well, even when I worked for a million years with Dan Dierdorf, I even covered him at the end of his career, and he said that on days when they had just to lift, they would smoke in between, like they lift, smoke, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
That is awesome. Yeah, so it was a different person back then. We're all different compared to what goes on nowadays. It's we grew up in a different era. That's all I'm going to say. It's just.
But I have to tell you my story.
Go ahead.
So, and this is a visual, too.
Okay.
Okay. From the time I'm a native Bostonian, and so, it was ridiculous. I grew up, it was Ted Williams, Bill Russell, number 4, Bobby Orr, right? So my idol when I was a kid was Sam Jones.
Okay.
The great Sam Jones, who
I
hope he's coming. He just had some.
He's been here the last couple of years.
Always, but he just had some very minor surgery, but I don't know, nothing serious. But so anyway, from the time I was 10 years old, I would write 24 on my little shirt, my white T-shirt, And, I learned a bank shot. I got high cut cons, anything. All right. So Sam and I, we've been in touch all these years. And Sam calls me every year and says, Lesley, please, you're in your 60s. Do not dress up, please, in my jersey. But here it is again. My Sam Jones. Here I am, number 24 with
That is awesome.
Who, by the way, made the 25th NBA anniversary team, the 50th, and the 75th.
That is awesome.
Only Bill Russell has more titles, 10.
Right. That is awesome.
So, but he begs me every year, come on, Lesley, because I've been doing it for 50 years.
Well, you're hardcore. You're a real fan. You're a real fan.
Elegant. I'm sure you've seen him here.
Of course.
Elegant,
every time. I've been to this event several times. Today I get to screw it up and MC it. So
it's a great event.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. So what do you think of our Dolphins going on right now, turning it around a little bit?
I do. Matter of fact, I texted Brian Flores and I said, Reggie Jackson used to be Mr. October and you're Mr. November. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy how it's kind of nothing, and then they win
Boom.
constantly. This is going to be a good test, I think, don't you? They've got some momentum now. And
expectations now also fall on you now. They're a 6.5-point favorite, so even Vegas, a 4-point favorite, I'm sorry. So Vegas obviously thinks they're a favorite in the game. And listen, Daniel Jones is not going to play, so that should also play in favor of the Dolphins. And the way the Dolphins are playing defense right now, they're really attacking whoever is the quarterback.
Yes.
So I think they'll make the Indiana kid struggle big time.
Do you feel that we're kind of accepting, and it's okay that Tua, he's not one of the other young quarterbacks. He's steady.
I'm a Tua fan, so.
But you can be a fan.
But I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
Okay.
I saw Joe Montana, and I've watched Drew Brees, and we had Bob Greasy. They all don't have to be 6'5".
No, I don't think
they all don't have to throw 100 miles an hour, because with that, I've watched David Klinger and I've watched Jeff George and I've watched Jamarcus Russell and, but I've watched the failures that are big strappers with all these arms, the Jeff Georges of the world and all that kind of stuff. So I've watched all those guys that these fans paint the picture like you've got to look this way. And that's just not true. You got to be smart. You got to be accurate. You got to be able to place the ball in the right spot. You got to have anticipatory skills. He has all of that. The only knock on him,
I don't think it's
is injury history. That's it.
Is injury history?
That's
it.
That's
which
legit.
Is not insignificant, right? That's legit. But I would say this. I totally agree with you. Russell Wilson, isn't huge.
But he's athletic at least. That is, I see him more like Breeze. I see him more like Greasy.
Yeah.
I see him more
smart
like
on the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those kind of guys.
Okay, what do you think the reason was? I wish we were just talking ourselves, but I might as well ask you.
We are.
I'm not sure if it's what is the reason that the Dolphins elected 5 captains and he was not one of them?
I don't. For me, that's the part I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Now, he's not the personality that dominates right away. I think he's the guy. I think he's so polite and such a decent human being that he waits to earn his spot.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
That's good.
And I think that he walked into that locker room and says, I don't own it yet because I haven't won for anybody yet.
Right.
And I think that once you start winning and you take over the locker room, then you can start to dominate and ask and demand.
That's good.
I'll give you an example. The first month that I did this job, I would go watch Don Shula, whoever it was that I was covering, and I never asked a question for a month. For a whole month.
But you weren't expected to be the leader of the media.
No, but what I'm saying is I wanted to first understand what was going on and see what everybody was doing and how they did it so I can learn. Because it was my first month of the business. And then your wings open up and you start to feel yourself.
Yeah, but day one,
get confidence.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I think it's for the reasons you say, but unfortunately the NFL doesn't really have a lot of time.
Not anymore.
And now he is rolling. You know what I mean? Now it's so.
But now he can pull people aside and he can tell them, do this, do that for me. Hey, you missed. You ran that route too short, too deep. Whatever. I need you to do this. And knowing him, he's not going to be the guy that's going to embarrass like Marino. Right. Like if you did something wrong, Marino will almost rip you right on the field. You know what I mean? It wasn't his thing. So I think he's the kind of kid that just kind of waits for his moment.
Right.
And I think
there
that's what he's
isn't
doing.
one kind of leader. There
Right.
are quiet leaders, there are vocal leaders, but I want to see this. This is the Tua that I want to see for the rest of the year. I don't want it now. He has to take the reins, as a leader.
I think he's doing that now.
I do too.
I think the confidence is growing. The wings are opening up.
Yes.
The butterfly is coming out of the caterpillar. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's happening now, because at first he wasn't like kind of pulling his weight. You know what I mean? But once you're doing this and you're making those game-winning plays, I think that's when everybody else gravitates to you too, by the way.
Yeah. Do you see it, though? Are the dice tumbling toward the Patriots? What do you see happening
For now,
there?
yes.
Yeah.
For now, yes, because they're so fundamentally sound.
Correct.
But I still don't see Mac Jones playing outside of a 20-yard box.
Right.
So they're not an explosive offense. But I like what Bill's doing. I hate to say that as a Dolphin fan, but he built the line. He gave him the running game.
Correct.
He's got the structure around him. And I think he's getting the kid comfortable in a zone. And then slowly but surely he'll open it up and open it up and open it up, and then give him more freedom. And when he feels that he's comfortable, then he can let him loose.
Didn't
what I
you
mean?
think the Tampa Bay Patriot game, I thought that ended the way it should.
Right.
I really did. Like there was no shame for the Patriots.
No.
It was great for Tom to go back there.
It's blasphemous for us to say this on this show. We're talking good of the Patriots.
We both covered the league for a long time.
No, I know. But it's just they do things the right way. You got to give anybody credit when they do things the right way.
Well, it is everyone I've ever known. This is my 45th year covering the NFL. And then I have to tell you a story about Ray Hamilton afterwards.
Okay.
He's here. But everyone, all the Patriots, you never got close to Bill Belichick. It really is do your job.
Right.
Which I think Brian Flores sort of has.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of do your job. He doesn't make a scene, do your job.
Right. Steady, consistent.
I love him, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that players love consistency.
Correct.
They hate the dude that changes from week to week and the emotions and this and that. That becomes a wreck.
Like I myself, I couldn't play for Dan Campbell.
Right.
I could not
myself. But I knew from the get-go the rah-rah stuff doesn't last. Yeah. In this league, if you're not showing them how to win or reach their incentives, they're going to tune you out right away, Leslie.
Screaming.
You know what I mean?
He wants us to go away.
I got to do my job. All right, Leslie.
Bye,
Thank you.
It was
you got
really
it.
fun.
Appreciate you. All right. That's Lesley Visser. We are going to take a break. You guys will see the festivities. I will go make a fool of myself.